Hi, Chris. Great that you're willing to do a keynote at our conference in Madrid. Please introduce yourself. Who are you?
Oh, hi, I'm Chris Ensey, Chief Operating Officer of Riot Blockchain. My background has been about 15 years in cybersecurity. I've worked in jobs from everything from a help desk to IT support to even more recently running a managed security services provider that did network and defense monitoring for companies across the entire globe. So my background has been deeply into researching areas where we look at how we can speed up the process of detection of threats, how we can better manage the incident response process. I was the founder of an open source project that actually is dedicated to this concept of how we manage triage of events and accountability in incident response. So those are my background. That's what I've focused on throughout my career. And I'm excited to be on the panel or speaking with your folks today.
Ah, great. And what can our members expect from your keynote?
Well, I think I want to talk about how modern computing is actually changing the way we do defense. It's a scale issue. It's a matter of the type of data that we're consuming every day, the velocity and the variety of that data, and the volume. So the volume is becoming the big factor that's changing the way that we do this. And so the traditional methods and the technologies that we've always relied upon have become a little bit outdated. And I think we now have to look at different models and methodologies that allow us to keep the pace of the threat, keep the pace of the data that we're creating as well as ingesting. And that really does change the scope at which a defender has to look at information that's coming at them. And this can be everything from a very technical audience that has bits and bytes to manage, all the way to the top level executives that have to deal with information security and policy that now have to make decisions at a more quick pace and maybe with a little bit of a fractured information set at times. So I want to talk about that process, how to establish a process, and most importantly, how to get the most benefit out of the tools that you're using today, as well as ones that you can consider in the future.
Okay. What would be the main thing you think our members will take away from your talk?
Well, I think the main thing that they'll take away from is a different perspective on how to look at threats, how to look at the environment that you're in, and think about the new technologies that we're all adapting inside of the world we live in. And if everything like cloud computing to even more advanced things like blockchains and other technologies now coming into the fold, I want to give ideas that can start to shape your thinking. Maybe give you a different perspective on the way you've always operated, and maybe that'll open up some different potential things within your scope.
Hey, great! Looking forward to it. And what would they miss if they're not there? What would be what are they really missing out on when they're not in Madrid?
Well, hopefully some war stories from the battlefield, especially from my days, both working in the defense sector here in the United States, but more importantly, I think more recently in the global set that we worked in the managed security services world that I had built out when I was in my previous role. And now what I'm talking about in the world of blockchain is a whole different category. So I have some ideas there that I'd love to convey to them, and I think they would miss it if they didn't catch the talk.
Hey, great. Look forward to your talk. Thanks a lot.